professional serving community. talkradio.nyc.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the A Train to Sedona broadcast. I'm Linda Marsanico. The A Train to Sedona is also a memoir I wrote about my journey to love and compassion. I wrote it to share my failings and my successes so that my journey would inspire yours. You can get a signed copy on my website at lindamarsanico.com on Buy the Book page. You can also get a regular copy at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, and bookstores. Now, I also have a free gift for you. I call it the cheat sheet for high vibration living. In it are 7 exercises designed to keep your energy high. The exercise I want to focus on today is staying in the present moment. The present moment is where the action is. If I'm washing the dishes, I want to stay focused on washing the dishes. If someone is cleaning their car, stay focused on cleaning the car, keeping your energy and vibration high and where the action is. You can download a free copy on my website at lindamarsanico.com. I have 2 disclaimers. One is that this broadcast does not establish a professional relationship. And the other is that opinions expressed here do not reflect necessarily the opinions of Talk Radio New York City. Today, my guest is Sara Jane. Sara Jane is a complementary health therapist, author, international speaker, program host, and interviewer. She also channels messages from mythical beings and dragons and speaks light language. Sara is the lead author of a new book, I Didn't Become Selfish, I Became Harder to Manipulate, bringing together 27 authors to share their stories and wisdom learned. She is the founder of Gift of Healing TV, a live weekly program sharing health and well-being interviews, meditations, exercises, and conversations with alternative health practitioners from around the world. Sara is the creator of Vocal Reiki, a technique that reaches a deep cellular memory level and supports people to reconnect with and heal their inner child. A fun fact about Sara, and I didn't know this, and I know Sara for about 2 years. A fun fact about her is that she used to be a trainee handler with the wolves at the UK Wolf Conservation Trust. Welcome to the show, Sara.
Thank you, Linda. It's a real pleasure. And I'm glad I surprised you.
You did indeed. And so we have collaborated on this wonderful new book, I Didn't Become Selfish, I Am Harder to Manipulate. Would you tell our listeners how the book came about?
Okay. Back in, where are we now? We're 2025. Back in March 24, I saw a little post, I think it was on Facebook, that said, you didn't become selfish, you became harder to manipulate. And that spoke to me. And I didn't forget it. I'm very good at forgetting things, but those words stuck with me. And I write a monthly article for my own personal website, Vocal Reiki. And I thought, actually, I'm going to write an article on that. You didn't become selfish, you became harder to manipulate. What I always do is I record myself reading that article. And as I did that, and I post it on YouTube, and I put that article up on the 1st of April, 2024, All Fool's Day. So of all days of the year, it was that one. And the following morning, I had a message saying, you've got a comment under the video. And it was just like, okay, I went in because I always respond to those comments. All the videos I have up, if there's a comment put under, I respond to them. And it was like 200 or 300 views of the video within 24 hours. And it was just, and that never happens. It just never happens. I'm lucky to get to that, a couple of years later, yet let alone with less than 24 hours. And it was just like, oh, okay. And so I responded to the comment. And then more and more comments were coming in, and the views were going up and up and up. And over the next months, there, I believe now, something like 650 comments without my responses under the video. Wow. From people who were saying, thank you so much. I don't know how this ended up on my list, but thank you so much. The title just spoke to me. People starting to share their stories. And this is people of all ages and both genders. It was everybody. It wasn't limited to any set, if you like, of people. Mm-hmm. And I haven't looked for a while now, but it's got up to 102,000 hits.
My goodness.
So when I was going through being author in another multi-author book last year, and I'd actually said to my sister, I'm never doing another one, and I've told the universe that. But I had put a proviso on. I had put, it's got to be an exceptional title, topic, and the money's got to be found to do it, because to be part of multi-author books isn't usually a cheap thing to be. And she said to me, Sarah, I hate to say this to you, but you are going to do another multi-author book and you are going to lead it. And it was just like, okay. When that was, I think, in the August last year, 2024. Mm-hmm. And within a couple of days, I knew what the book was to be about. But rather than calling it You Didn't Become Selfish, it became I Didn't Become Selfish. I became harder to manipulate. Mm-hmm. And I'm one of these people, I like to do things differently. I don't follow the crowd. And so I just put it out to a group, said, I'm going to be doing this myself, no costs. I'll share the royalties. It is going to be an ebook, and everyone's going to read their own chapter, and there's going to be an audio, and that link to the audio will be in the ebook. So that wasn't going to be a matter of you have to buy one or buy the other. You get the two together. So as I said, I do things differently. So that is how it came about, and that's how you became part of it.
Yes. Now, you mentioned that when you saw that phrase, you didn't become selfish, you became harder to manipulate, it resonated with you. Can you say something about that resonation?
I think I've said for a long time, sort of the selfish thing. What is selfish? And if I was to say to you, sort of, oh, Linda, could you help me with? And you were true to you, for whatever reason, you had to say no. Me turning around and calling you selfish makes me the selfish one for expecting you to do what I wanted you to do, with no consideration to what might be going on in your own life and what resonates with you. And so people, I think, have totally distorted this word selfish. And I think that's why it resonated with me. It's because it's the true meaning of the word selfish is the individual who's usually calling you. selfish. And so it's because of that word selfish that this resonated with me. And obviously because then listening to or reading the stories that the people were sharing under the video. And it was just like, oh, thank you. Thank you. Now I know I'm not the selfish one. And that's what really spoke to me because of how I've felt about that word selfish for so long.
I think it's a spiritual truth. I know it is, that in order to be compassionate, we have to be compassionate with self first.
Yeah.
And if we're on a plane with our child or with someone who depends upon us, we need to, if the plane is in some kind of trouble, we need to put our own mask on first. And I think we need to reevaluate the word selfish because it's healthy to set boundaries, to say no to things, because we allow time for ourselves if something doesn't fit into our schedule, if someone is too invasive to our boundary, we set that boundary. And so if someone is going to call us selfish, they're not listening to our assertions, which when I think of assertion, I think of getting my needs met while respecting the rights of others. And I see assertion as part of compassion, because with compassion, I need to love myself. And we'll talk about that a bit later on. I need to love myself so that I can love others. I need to have compassion for myself first so that I can share that with others. And when I first said that assertion is part and parcel of compassion, someone said, how could that be so? And I developed my thinking because I want to share that with others to give us the permission to think of it differently.
I think it's thinking about the actual dictionary definition of the word selfish. And it's basically, it's all about self to the detriment of others. It's, with absolutely no consideration to other people. So that's what I was saying. If I said to you, you're being selfish because you said no, it was truly me being selfish because I had no consideration for you.
Yes.
And you sort of talk about boundaries. I was a people pleaser for so many years that, to be perfectly honest, I had no boundaries. Because if somebody wanted something from me, oh, my video's gone off for some reason. Let's try turning that back on. Good. Sorry, I don't know why that went off. It did.
Technology.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's about, if you've been in that people pleaser place, you've been doing everything and anything for others with no consideration for yourself. But in some respects, because you are trying to please others, you're thinking about what you think will please them.
Yes.
But you're not actually having any consideration for what they might choose. So actually, in some respects, because you're not being totally true to yourself, are you actually yourself in an aspect of selfishness?
That dictionary meaning needs to be changed. We're going to be broadcasting this. The dictionary meaning needs to be more flexible and more flexible and more loving, because health depends upon it. If I'm going to be people pleasing, I'm going to be very unhappy on some level. But what I'm now hearing is that we need to take a commercial break. And when we come back, Sara, I'd like to talk about the book and why now? Why are we doing this now? Listeners, do come back to continue this conversation with Sara.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour Awakening Humanity, Thursdays 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a high-achieving, growth-oriented leader? Are you interested in developing your authentic leadership while creating a healthy, inclusive workplace? Hi, I'm Dr. Mira Brancu, host of The Hard Skills on talkradio.nyc at 5 p.m. Eastern on Tuesdays, where we discuss how leaders develop the hard skills needed to make a greater impact. We interview experts, have live coaching, and tackle these challenges. Listen to The Hard Skills on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.
I thought I unmuted. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the A Train to Sedona broadcast. I'm Linda Marsanico, and I'm here with my guest, Sara Jane. So with the newly published ebook, whose title is I Didn't Become Selfish, I Became Harder to Manipulate, I wonder, Sara, why now?
I think the response to that video was the why now. I was meant to obviously see that little post on Facebook, meant to write that article, meant to record myself reading it, and I was meant to post it. Because for it to be watched, I know it was only a 2-3 minute video, but for it to be watched by so many people, over 12,000 likes, it boosted my followers by over 3,000. You know, to have now at least 102,000 hits of the video, that was the universe saying now.
102,000 comments were
No, watches. It was 650 comments. It was 102,000 views.
So 102,000 people watched the video, and I would think that that would affect them as well. We don't know what they're thinking or feeling, but perhaps they could feel they're not alone in their quest to be assertive. Because I was thinking, I didn't learn how to be assertive in my childhood. I didn't learn how to be assertive in school and set boundaries. And we have to learn it if we want to be assertive and be setting boundaries. So that's a heck of a response for you.
Oh, 100%. It totally took my breath away. It really did. Because, and that's why I suppose it took my sister saying what she said for me to get the message the universe was actually giving me.
So the universe works with your sister as well. And your
100%.
It's handy to have siblings like that.
Oh, 100%. She does psychic writings. You know, she gets. I don't know whether she hears things, but I certainly don't hear and see things. But I know I'm a channel for things. But I wasn't getting the message in spite of. I think it was during sort of like July and August last year. The views were going up by 1,000 and 2,000 a day. And I wasn't getting the message.
You know, I have a baby sister. I'm the eldest of 4. And something happened in the family and I wasn't responding in a spiritual way. So my sister said, Linda, this is an opportunity and let's see how it unfolds. But remember the spiritual message here. And I I just stepped back and realized the truth of what she said. So
And she's my youngest sister as well.
sometimes we need a little help from our friends and our sibs.
100%. As well as that as friends and sisters and family, it's realizing that the universe brings us messages in so many different ways. And we can ignore them or we can respond to them. So I responded so far, I just forgot the next bit. I just didn't understand the next bit until Jackie said what she said.
Sometimes I'm so distracted that I don't hear it. And the idea is, as I was saying in my cheat sheet for high vibration living, being in the present moment is where the action is, because letting go of those distractions allows us to hear the subtle messages. It's really very important.
Yeah, but I think at that stage, I was still very much getting the comments on a daily basis and sort of people's stories. And they weren't just sort of two-liners. I was getting sort of big paragraphs and I was reading all of that. And I was responding to those people. And it wasn't just a couple of words in response. I remember years ago when I put a meditation to connect with your guardian dragon up, and people were putting comments under that. And one person put in the comment, I have commented under so many videos here on YouTube, and you are the only person who has ever responded to me. And I find that really sad that people put an awful lot of supportive videos up, but the people that responded to me, I responded back to them. And so it wasn't just my video that touched their life, because we are here to touch other people's lives. But how many can I touch? By inviting all of you to participate in this book, the different stories will resonate with different people.
Yes.
They're not the same. And I've got 7 guys in the book sharing their stories. And for me, it was so important to get the guys on board as well as the gals.
Absolutely. Did they come aboard in volunteering? Did you reach out to them? How did the men come aboard?
As with everybody, I reached out to a whole group of people. Some people loved the idea, but it just wasn't right for them at that point in time. But, other life things going on.
Yes.
So some people were a no, but then there were, including myself, 27 of us. And from what I can gather, for a multi-author book, that's a really good number.
It's solid. The book is 200 and some odd pages.
Yeah, I believe so. I haven't looked for a while, but yes.
It's a good read, and I'm continuing to read it. And everybody's contact information is there. The videos are. So when are there as well? So when the book comes out, we'll talk about the book a little later. So you have 7 men and the rest 20 women. How did you figure out how to place the stories?
Oh, I went through so many different things. And in the end, I went to my fallback and I wrote everybody's name on a piece of paper. And I put all of those into a jar. I've dropped a load of them on the floor now. And I pulled them out. And the first one out had to be, and so I didn't put myself first. I was going to go wherever I came out. Because I thought, that's the only way I can do it. Because I thought, oh, I'll do this. Then I thought, no, that's not working when I tried doing it. Oh, I'll try that. That's not working either. So I just thought, you know what? Just let the universe choose.
You put a lot of effort into this. When I think of responding the way you did to all of the comments, it says something about you, Sara, that you are truly devoted to helping and to sharing energy and the like.
I feel that's why I'm here. I have a gift to share. What is it? Sort of, you're all given a gift. It's up to you to unwrap it and to share it. They're not the exact words in whatever the quote is, but that's true. And I think we are the gift. It's time to unwrap ourselves. And I also believe that part of that gift is our experiences. And when I sort of did the book before, which was David MacLeod's book, Gift of Wisdom, one of the things that really came to me when I was sort of writing the chapter and the bits that we had to share after it, it was just like, actually, do you know what? It's not about our actual story. It's about how what happened to us made us feel. So people haven't got to read a story and think, oh, that's exactly what happened to me. It doesn't matter. When we start reading how it made the individual feel, they are usually where we think, I get that. That is how I was feeling. And it's the feelings that were engendered in us when we went through what we went through. And that is what I think is the deepest resonance with people. It's they get it. Mm-hmm. They understand. They've been through it. And do you know what? If I can come through what I went through, and it's not the same story in I Didn't Become Selfish. It's a totally different story because of what it was, what we were sharing. But if all of us, all 27 of us, got through what we went through, others can do exactly the same. We had to find that inner strength, that inner compassion for ourselves, that inner love, that inner confidence, that inner believing and trusting in ourselves for us to be able to get through what we went through, to be able to come out the other side and say to others, no, it stops here. I am now setting my boundaries. I have too much respect for myself to put up with this anymore.
And the stories go through the depths of the trauma, what people went through, yet we come out as survivors and more in an upbeat fashion. In my chapter, your chapter is 10, mine is 20. I talk about all the things that I've learned how to do, and with a reevaluation of the situation and a look at it from the current perspective, I wouldn't be the person I am today without it. And it's a gift. It was a gift. And so the stories end on that upbeat note, and they share, and we share tips and strategies and ways of living again. And not just existing, living a full life. And that's exciting. I mean, when I think of being on the spiritual path and the bumps and the way the road twists and turns, it's an adventure if we look at it like that. What's going to happen today? What will universe put in my path? I remember reading about a woman who was walking down the street, a car swerved, a book fell out. She picked it up and she said, it changed my life. That's one other way of universe waking us up.
Yeah, 100%. Sort of all those years ago, the trauma I went through, the wake up came with a broken jaw and 6 months of pain and sleepless nights. But if I hadn't had that, one of the best things that ever happened to me, because it so drained me, I was so exhausted with 6 months of pain and sleepless nights, I couldn't continue being the people pleaser, running a home. Gratefully, I didn't have children, working full time, studying. It was just like it actually all had to give.
It all had to go. And in a sense, you were at rock bottom, and the way to go was to go up. Now, I'm being told that we have time for a commercial break. And when we come back, I'd like to talk about I didn't become selfish, I became harder to manipulate, that it's available as an ebook, and then there are other plans. So stay tuned, listeners. Come back to us after the break to hear the lowdown.
Were you an essential worker during the pandemic? If you needed to learn stages of epilepsy, did you depend on advocates? Did you use new innovations to cope with mental and neurological issues? Maintaining high quality of life and keeping good mental health are what we all strive for. I'm Frank R. Harrison, host of Frank About Health, and each week top healthcare influencers, professionals, and innovators answer these questions and more. Stay tuned on Thursdays at 5 p.m. on talkradio.nyc, and I will continue to be frank about health with all of you.
Ready to serve up success with a splash? Hi, I'm Bruce Kramer, aka the corporate cockroach.
I'm the Renaissance woman, Angie Snowball.
And I'm your strategy doctor, Dr. Navtej Desange, inviting you to serving up success with a splash.
Join us as we shake things up with real talk and real strategies centered around awareness, action, and accountability.
And yes, there really is a cocktail involved. Please join us and sip your way to success.
Serving up success with a splash, where wisdom meets happy hours. Cheers!
Cheers!
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the A Train to Sedona broadcast. I'm Linda Marsanico with my guest, Sara Jane. Sara, I didn't become selfish, I became harder to manipulate is an ebook. Tell our listeners about the new plans.
Okay, my original aim was that it was going to be an ebook with the audio, the links inside. In the ebooks, you get both. But yes, the idea of having it as a physical book, which I knew was going to create me much more work than I had time for at the time because I knew that the 1st of April 2024 was when the video went up that created all of this. And I knew the book had to be published on the 1st of April 2025. This was just the universe. This is what I was being told. And so I know what I'm like with technology. It freaks me out a lot of the time.
You're not alone. You're not alone. Go ahead.
So I accepted I wasn't going to push myself beyond what I could cope with. That was really important. But what I've asked all the authors is, what I would like to do is create a gathering. So not a summit. Personally, I believe those have become a little bit old hat. You see a summit and you're thinking, okay, fine, there's loads of those out there. It's a gathering. So I'm going to be recording conversations with 2 of you at a time. And we're going to take things a bit beyond where the book. So we're not going to just be sharing what's in the book. And I believe these conversations are going to be really, really powerful. And the aim is to put those out at some stage in October. At the moment, I'm getting the sense 1st of October, and the physical book, so it'll be a relaunch. Now, I'm saying 1st of October 2025 at the moment. We're going to see how things go. Because obviously there is work to be done. But I also appreciate we're in July. We've got August coming up. Certainly in the Northern Hemisphere, it's summer. And a lot of people are thinking about holidays, etc. So the aim is we'll be doing the recordings in September. And the aim is probably over a week, then release potentially a couple a day. So that people might be a bit more than that. I don't know. It might be 10 days, whatever it's going to be. Release a couple a day, and then, but let people know that the physical book is out there as well. So there's work for us all to do in the meantime, but we're going to have some summer months, some rest and relaxation and R&R so to get us through. And I know that I needed that after all the work that had to be put in. And don't get me wrong, I had a massive support. Jos, who's in the book, he works with music. He records all the time. He said, oh, if you can get me the recordings, I will create the audio. Oh. And it's just the audio of the chapters. Haven't gone into all the rest of the book. So, because you've got it inside the ebook anyway. So the audio's there. And then Jean, voiced art, she just sent me a cover for the book. And it was just like, oh, wow. And so for the gathering, my sister's helped me, because she's much more technically minded, with creating a background. So if you've ever seen the cover of the book, which is like a beach scene.
Yes.
So it's like the line in the sand, but that's created by, because that's what we do. There's a line in the sand when we start setting those boundaries and we start saying, no, you're not stepping across that anymore. And so it's lovely with a little sort of sunset at the background, sort of, and a figure there at the front. And so it's just created like a beach scene between two dunes with a couple of cushions and a seat, sort of in the sunset, with a campfire and some candles sort of in the sand. So it's a beautiful background for us to be able to sit in and have our conversation. So the aim is, and it will be sometime in October, whether it will be the 1st, but that would be exactly 6 months after the initial release. But we'll see what happens. We'll see how well things go. But yes, and then Nicole did some lovely some banners for us and things with all our chapters, etc., and a little video. And people did these things without being asked. So it's been a real collaboration, not just on. And then so many of us, you've got your program and you've invited me on, and several others. We've done a whole series on our Today's Conversation program on Gift of Healing TV with the authors. That's still running at the moment. So yes, we are all collaborating, we're all talking, and we're all getting to know each other, and that's beautiful.
It is. Spiritually like-minded people creating more wonderful energy.
Yeah.
Now, I'd ask you to clarify something. In the physical book that's coming out in October, will there be an audio?
My aim is that because the audio that's been put into the ebook has been, I'm trying to think who it was that was kind enough to set it up. One of those QR codes. So if the QR code is in the ebook, I'm assuming you can just put that QR code into the physical book. Because I don't do those phones, I don't know anything about them.
Yeah, you put the phone onto the QR code, and then you'd get the audio link. Another clarification: when you got the information from Universe through your sister, again through your sister, was it just for the ebook? Because I'm wondering whether you had a separate awakening to produce the physical book.
I think it was about me actually saying, what can I cope with? What do I feel I can do? And it was actually what, 6-7 years ago. I did a lovely little book with Jill Matson. She'd done the images, but it's a poetry book, Whispers from the Heart, and poems that I've channeled. And I'd got it ready, but she said, oh, do it as a physical book. And it was just like, I went to try and do it, and the technical stuff behind it just blew my mind. And it was just like, I can't, So that book is now up as an ebook at long last, but it is not a physical book. I've still got that to do. But if I'm going to do this one as a physical book, I am going to do the other one as a physical book as well. And there are 2 poems that I've put into I Didn't Become Selfish, Butterfly and Tears. And those poems came to me for this book, I Didn't Become Selfish.
So you'll have 2 physical books under your belt, in addition to Elder's Wisdom, if I'm getting that. What is the correct title?
No, it became Gifts of Wisdom.
Gifts of Wisdom, yes. The original title was, I won't even mention it again.
But I'm actually also a multi-author, an author in another multi-author book going back quite a few years. And it was sort of like No Mistakes, and I can't remember the rest of the title at the moment, which was published through Hierophant Publishing and Brandy Davila. So that was a few years ago, and I'm now doing another one with Jean Voiced Art, expressive arts, supporting people with stress. So it's yeah, I'm doing it again. So that will be 4.
4 books. And you will be publishing the physical book. Have you chosen a publisher? How will you go about that?
Jean's helping me with that because she will help people publish books. She's got her own little publishing company. So bless her, she's offered to support with that for all of us.
And what is the company name?
I can't remember offhand.
We'll have to talk about that. It's certainly of interest. So we have a few minutes. So the authors have been joining you on today's conversation. I was with you last week on today's conversation. Right after I broadcasted here, 2:30, I went on to join you and Scott and Beth. Other plans for the book, the physical book?
At the moment, sort of that's it. But, Sara Troy has her own, and I know that's going to be really confusing because I'm spelt Sara but said Sarah. She spelt Sara and said Sara. But Sara Troy's got her own programs, and so she's invited me on, and I sort of shared on that. And Linda Binns, she's also invited me, and we've had a conversation, and sort of with David, because there are an awful lot of us within the book who actually do something similar, or in your own unique way. I don't call mine a podcast any more than you do because you're on talk radio. But there are those who say, I've got my own podcast, will you come on? So the more of that we all do to support each other, not just from the book perspective, but also from what we actually all do, sharing. That to me was what Gift of Healing TV was always about, is helping people to share what they do. That's what I believe these multi-author books are. They support people to know they're not alone, that people are there and they do understand, but it's also supporting the authors with supporting in actually their own unique ways.
And spreading this energy to inform, to help, to support, as you say, complementary ways of healing and thinking and acting.
Yeah. It's
a very important effort. How long ago did you start Gift of Healing TV?
2014.
So you're 11 years.
In September. Yep.
And you broadcast that all on your own.
Yep, absolutely.
It's amazing. You really learn what you need to learn to produce what you'd like to produce.
Yeah. I'm one of these people, I like to keep things simple. And if I can do things the simplest way, I will do it the simplest way. I can't see the point of making things more complicated than they have to be.
Well, in your way to do things simply, you've added a lot of complexity to your life.
Oh, yes. But
you've done it simply, and you've you've drawn people to you with expertise that helps. And
Oh.
really, that's part of the journey.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So we're getting ready for a break now. And when we come back, I would like to talk about the role of spirituality in your life. And we'll have a lovely conversation for the last quarter of the show. So listeners, do join us after the break.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host a program, Philanthropy in Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
Hi, I'm Linda Marsanico. The A Train to Sedona is a memoir about my journey to love and compassion. It's also the name of my new broadcast on Wednesdays at 12 noon. When we are spiritual, we embrace possibilities and ideas, which strengthen our mind, body, spirit, health, and wisdom. On the A Train to Sedona broadcast, I plan to interview guests who embrace these expansive practices. Join us on Wednesdays at 12 noon on Talk Radio New York City.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the A Train to Sedona broadcast. I'm Linda Marsanico with my guest, Sara Jane. And Sara, it occurred to me to ask if there's something else, whether there are any other details about the book, what your feelings are about the book, having come so far with it, before we go on to some other topics.
I just feel so very blessed with those of you that shared your story. And they were stories that literally took people. I think some of you have actually said that by writing your story, it's been very cathartic and healing for yourself to write it. So to have people do what they did to participate in this book, to participate in recording their chapters, because I really wished the individual who went through what they went through to read their own chapter, so that they were speaking from their heart. To me, it was very important because I've got people in the US, Canada, UK, Europe, China, in the book, that I said, write as you speak. Also, punctuate as you speak. Spell as you speak. Because, and I know some people said, no, it's got to be uniform. And I said, no, it hasn't. Because we're unique individuals and we come from different cultures. And for me, it's important that we do that. It's not all American spelling or English spelling or whatever, but everybody's obviously had to write in English. But it's accepting, it's not trying to, oh no, you can't put it that way because you actually happen to have the German tongue, but you're writing in English. So I feel blessed that people all around the world actually chose to participate in this book.
27 people are a lot, and shows a devotion and sharing, a willingness to share. And also taking in the neurodivergent. You asked us to use a certain type, which you gave us. I don't know how you got that to me, but you did. And you paragraphed it so that the neurodivergent would find it easier to follow. So much care went into all aspects of this book.
That was guided by my youngest sister, because Jackie, at the age of 55, was diagnosed with dyslexia, ADHD, on the autism spectrum, and complicated PTSD. So, there are certain fonts that people with dyslexia really have difficulty reading. Mm-hmm. And it was listening to her long paragraphs. I so rarely write a long paragraph. I really do rarely do it. And so that was the encouragement of the authors. Okay, can we not shorten the paragraphs in respect of taking information out, but turn a long paragraph into several paragraphs? Mm-hmm. And if only I'd have realized with Jean, and she never said anything at the time, but Jean, her difficulties mean that if we can subhead sections, it makes it easier for her to follow. So I wish I'd known that at the time. I'm not going to go back through and change it now, but if with subheadings throughout, it makes her easier for her. This is what Jackie said. The long paragraphs, I lose my place, and I'm reading the same section time and time again if I get interrupted. And it's thinking about that and realizing that I've probably got aspects of dyslexia as well.
Well, one of my guests, Rebecca Hylogist, said that it is her opinion that the neurodivergent is the new normal.
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't agree. Yeah.
And I think that so-called the autism spectrum, that these young kids are coming in to teach us how learning can happen, to allow us to be more sensitive to all of this.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you, we have a bit of time left before we close. What is the role of spirituality in your life, Sarah?
It's a very big role. Although I was raised a Catholic and very much believe in the angelic realm, I've shifted away from what I consider to be man-made religions, and I consider myself considerably more spiritual, because my beliefs, as in the introduction, it was just like I channel dragons and mythical beings. I speak light language. I think there's an awful lot that I do that I channel. I channel the toning that for the vocal Reiki. So to me, it's about being spiritual, because I have no idea who I'm channeling. I just know that not with the sound, with the toning. I just know that the highest energies that wish to work with me, because that is what I have asked. That is the intention that I have set. When I'm speaking light language, I have no idea what I'm saying. None. And some people have said, oh, it can be translated. But my feeling is it's the language of our soul. And therefore our heart and our soul understand it. Mm-hmm. This doesn't. And for me, it's not meant to, because it can't then misinterpret it or reinterpret it in a different way. So your heart and your soul are hearing it in its perfect form. I was at a light workers lunch only last Friday, and one of the guys stood up and he sort of said about, for those of you that channel, and there were a lot of us there that channel, it isn't about then putting it into AI, because you channel it perfectly the way it is intended to be put out there. When you put it into AI and you get it reworded, it can lose actually the meaning. And it was just like, do you know what? Because my youngest sister loves AI, and I'm really wary of AI. So it is about the spiritual aspect of what I'm here to do. I remember years ago standing in a holistic fair that I'd organized and thinking, how many lives can I touch? And this is before the internet was the way it is today. How many lives can I touch? But if I support so many more people to get out there, how many more lives can we touch? It's an acceptance that not everyone will resonate with me and what I do, because I'm not right for everyone. And when we can accept the fact that Grandmother Turtle said, the more we share, the more we care, the more love there is in the world. So what you do with your program, what I do with mine, what so many others do with their programs, we're sharing, we're supporting others to get out there. That sharing is the caring, that is the love.
Yes. Well, it's been so sweet to have you on the A Train to Sedona to talk about the collaboration of the book, I Didn't Become Selfish, I Became Harder to Manipulate. Where can people find you?
They can find me on vocalreiki.com, and that vocal Reiki is all one word. And also, if people are interested in learning more about loads of different techniques, every single program that we've ever done on Gift of Healing TV, they're all there on the catch-up pages, interviews, meditations, exercises. giftofhealingtv.com. And if people want to learn more about the messages from dragons and the mythical beings, then that's on ourmagicalfriends.com. I share a monthly light language message. They're all on the Vocal Reiki website.
Thank you so much, Sarah. Listeners, I want to let you know that next week, Jordan of Jordan's Apothecary will be on the show. She talks about trauma and she has wonderful skills to help people work this through. Sarah, again, such a sweet, joyful episode with you. And I look forward to seeing you soon on my show, your show, or somebody else's.
Hopefully our gathering.
Indeed.
Thank you, Linda. It's been an absolute pleasure as always.
Lovely. You're so welcome. I think we're going off to the end of the show. That break. Parting is sweet sorrow, I must say.